welcome to biology class. So we are in the chapter ecosystem. We did studied about the structure and the function of ecosystem. We talked about the productivity and decomposition. In this lesson, in this particular video, we'll be talking about what is meant by energy flow. So there is something called photoactive radiation, photosynthetically active radiation. So what is this photosynthetically active radiation? This is the wavelength, the 400 to 700 nanometer wavelength, which is actually required for the photosynthesis process. So lots of energy is released from the sun, but the photosynthetically active radiation is less than 50%, which actually comes to the earth. Out of this radiation, the bacteria, autotrophic bacteria, photosynthetic bacteria, and green plants, they utilize actually very less energy. That too, I think 2 to 10% of this photosynthetically active radiation or PAR radiation is utilized for the process of photosynthesis. So, what is we are going to study in this topic is plants. Green plants are the producers, and from the producers to the different trophic level, means from the producers to the consumers, which are also heterotrophs, there will be flow of energy. Now, this flow of energy is unidirectional. So here comes the first law of dynamics, thermodynamics. So what does it suggest? That there should not be formation of energy. It is only transferred from one form to another. So producers are the one which are not producing the sunlight, which are not producing the energy. It is actually converting the solar energy into the chemical energy. So producers are not producing the energy. Even consumers are not consuming the energy. So this actually proves that the unidirectional flow of energy is neither produced nor consumed, rather it transformed from one form to another form. So I hope you understood the concept over here, how unidirectional flow of energy is related to the first law of dynamics, thermodynamics. The second part is, now there should be a constant supply of energy. So only this photosynthesis can happen, and this constant supply of energy is required to form the molecule which is required for the living. So this actually leads to the disorderliness of the ecosystem, which is related to the second law of thermodynamics. So this actually the transfer of energy, the movement of energy to the different trophic level is not away from the thermodynamics law. So that is what to be understood at this moment. The next part what we are understanding is that there are two type of, first of all we'll try to understand what is meant by the trophic level. Trophic level का क्या मतलब है? So first of all we have producers. Now what are the producers? So if you talk about the terrestrial ecosystem, you have green plants or the trees as a producer. If you talk about the aquatic system, then you have phytoplankton as a producers. So first of all you have producers, you have phytoplankton, you have grass, you have tree as a producers. Next part is the primary consumers. Primary consumers are also called the herbivore. So what they'll do, they are actually the zooplankton in case of aquatic system. In case of terrestrial system, they are cows and deer, rabbit, these are the herbivores. Then the secondary consumers. These secondary consumers are actually in the third trophic level. Producers was the first trophic level. Primary consumers second trophic level. And this is in the secondary consumers in third trophic level. So secondary consumers are the birds, fishes and wolf. Then the top consumers or the tertiary consumers, they are actually the top level, and they are called man and lion. So they are the highest trophic level. So trophic level means what? According to the requirement of the food, organisms are divided in a series, and that series is called trophic level. For example, if you take a cow, it is actually herbivore. It eats the green plants. Therefore, we'll have to keep it in a primary consumers. Therefore, it will be placed in the second trophic level. If you take the example of lion, they are top carnivores. So they'll be placed at the top trophic level. So that is what is meant by the trophic level. Now, you read in previous classes about the food chain and the food web. Now, what is the meaning of the food chain and food web? So, let's suppose there are some green plants eaten by the rabbit, and rabbit is again eaten by the wolf. So, this is a simple food chain. But these green plants cannot be only eaten by the rabbit. It could be eaten by the deer. It could be eaten by the cow. Then the cow or the deer can be again taken care by the wolf. Wolf can be eaten by the lion. So, similarly, the lion can eat not only the rabbit or the deer, it can eat even the fish when it is required. So that is what is called food web. Food chain is not constant, because as of the environment, as of the availability of resources, the food chain cannot be as simple as that. It has to be a food web, wherein one consumer is not restricted to one particular kind of food. It can eat different kind of food. Therefore, the food web formation has happened. Now we'll understand what is meant by grazing food chain and what is meant by the decomposing or detritus food chain. So this grazing food chain means grass, which is a producer, goat, which is primary consumer, and man, which is secondary consumer. So this is an example of grazing food chain. Detritus food chain, if you see, the dead organism, the dead plants, the remain of the plants will be there, which will be broken by the bacteria and other organisms, and through aerobic respiration they form the inorganic material. So this is the detritus food chain. Now, this grazing food chain is actually in aquatic system. It is the high source of energy. So, the grazing food chain actually provides a lots of energy in case of aquatic system. But in terrestrial system, this detritus food chain provides a lots of energy. So, that is the difference between the grazing food chain and detritus food chain. Sometimes the organism of detritus food chain can also involve into the grazing food chain. So, that is what is called the food web. Then next point is, some organism of the detritus food chain sometimes act as a prey. Like sometimes cockroaches, they are also top carnivores. Even though they are detritivores, they are also carnivores. So this actually forms the food web over here. Next part is that there is something called standing crop. What is mean by the standing crop over here? The mass of living material in a particular time in any trophic level. Now mass here I am talking about the dry weight and the wet weight. Now what is mean by dry weight and wet weight, I will tell you. You take a grain or a chana or anything. Okay, so you have a soaked chana. So when you keep it in a sun, it will become dry and it will be like this. So this part, this A part, is actually having whatever the things have dried up. You just weight it. If you weight it like 1 gram, and now when you weigh it, you get around 0.8 gram. So the difference, that 0.2 gram difference is there. That is called the that was the wet weight, and this is the dry weight. So which has got evaporated, which has got lost. That is called the wet weight. So this is the difference between dry weight and wet weight. So anytime in any trophic level, the biomass at that particular time, the amount of biomass, the amount of dry and wet weight that an organism will have at a particular time in any trophic level, which is called standing crop. The next part is the 10% law. So 10% law, the understanding is important that in the trophic level, when we go to the trophic level, so let's suppose here the biomass is around 10,000 kilojoule. Now this 10,000, out of this 10,000 kilojoule, that is the gross productivity, we know there's something called net primary productivity is there, which is available to the next part. So 10% of energy is lost here, and then around 1,000 will come here in the primary carnivores. Next again 10% will be lost, and we'll get the new energy available for the secondary consumer, and then tertiary consumer, the very less energy is available. So what is important over here is the 10% law, which is given by the Raymond Lindemann in 1942. It suggests that from every topic level there will be 10% loss. अभी आप सोच रहे होंगे what is mean by this 10% loss? Why this loss is happening? See, let's suppose you are going to eat a chapati, which is a plant source. Okay, so when you're eating the chapati, so you're chewing it first of all, then you're digesting it. So you're actually expending lots of energy to get the energy. So this expenditure of energy is only the loss. So I hope you understand that. So let's suppose a lion is there and it is eating the rabbit or a deer. So in order to eat it properly and digest it, it has to spend some energy for them. And that expenditure of energy is what is called the loss of energy. So this loss of energy in every trophic level it happens, and it is unidirectional. It has to have from producer to the top carnivores. So it is always unidirectional. The flow of energy will be always unidirectional because the producers are the one. The reason is the producers are the one which is actually converting the solar radiation into the chemical form. Other consumers cannot do that. Therefore, this energy flow will be always unidirectional. Now the producer will have the energy. after 10% loss of that amount of energy, the primary consumer, then the 10% loss, then secondary consumers, then the top carnivores will also lose some energy and get the energy. So this is what is called 10% energy loss during the movement in the above tropic level. So in this context, if you see, the producers are the one which have the lots of energy, and the top carnivores or the tertiary consumers will have the lesser amount of energy. So this is what is called the 10% loss. So we'll revise it now. What is mean by the energy flow? We have photosynthetically active radiation, which is less than 50%. Out of that, only 2 to 10% of that energy is utilized by the plant. Now in plant we have unidirectional flow of the energy. Then we talk about the grazing food chain and detritus food chain. Now sometimes the individual which is involved in the detritus food chain will get also involved in the grazing food chain, and that is what is called food web. Next we talk about that what is mean by the standing crop. So standing crop is the amount of dry and wet weight of the mass which is actually present in a particular tropic level, and that is available for the different tropic level. We talk about the 10% law, which talks about the movement or the expenditure of energy at different level of the tropic level, wherein the producers will have the high amount of energy and the top carnivore or the top tropical individual will have the lesser amount of energy. Now this is all about the energy flow. We'll see you in the next lesson where we'll talk about the ecological pyramid. So thank you very much for watching. Have a nice day.